grandparents and I were going over Mackinac Bridge, and it was really foggy that day. And we went through a cloud bank, and when we came out of the cloud bank, on the right-hand side is Mackinac Island. Well, I went, where's the building? Is there another island over there? And my grandmother looked, and she said, no, that's got to be the island. It's the only one over there. But it had no buildings on it whatsoever. You couldn't see the Grand Hotel. You couldn't see any of the white buildings, and most of them are white. And we went through another cloud bank, and when we came out, which was just a couple seconds, the island was there, and it had all the buildings back on it again. And we were looking in the exact same spot, and there is no other island over there. So that was some sort of couple second layer of past and present.
Which is very common because there are giant ley lines and triangles on this planet that go between things like the pyramids of Giza to Stonehenge to places out in western the U.S., all through France, and they make a sense of a little bit of time travel. You might have visualized something that somehow what you thought was the clouds and went in and out. I hear a lot of repeat or reverb. That's why I'm slowing down. But anyway, you might have had a glimpse of something past. And how cool is that?
It was awesome because I know it was saying there's no other island there.
Now, wouldn't it have been neat if you stopped the car at that point, jumped off the bridge, and swam to that empty island?
Well, I think getting out and taking a picture would have been good enough, except we probably would have got hit in the back end by another car that didn't see us.
I think it would have been worth it. You could have made $3 million and said he ran into you. And own the island. Yeah, but just to see it like, oh, I believe you. You know, that happens. There are glimpses of time. You know, you got pilots that go through certain triangles and they lose time. And policemen who have had UFO experiences, especially when their electronics in the vehicle stop. When the things come close, and they wake up and 20 minutes have gone by and they only thought a minute went by. And this is the dynamic where maybe they were in a different time entity where only a minute did go by. And we know that time can be curved because, you go up in a space shuttle and you go half the speed of light around the world 70 times, you come back down, you will be maybe, 20 days older? Yeah. But the Earth would have gone, ahead in time because you were slowing down in time. So your granddaughter might be older than you.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's proven, especially when you approach speeds, close to light. But the problem with that is a lot of other things we won't go into. But that's what spirit is. It breaks all the physics. It breaks all the fundamental rules that we understand. And we should never try to think that they are doing stuff to us. And that's why I'm against Ghost Asylum. That's why I'm against badgering these things to act tough.
Torture it when they blow it up. It was a human being at one point. It's somebody's loved one. I don't understand that. That really upset me.
The best one-on-one I ever had was in a basement where it used to be a bordello, and I really, truly felt bad because I smelled perfume in a corner, and it smelled like honeysuckle, and I called her that, and I said, it's really it's too bad that you were lied to, and I can't imagine the horrible crap you had to go through, and your whole life you probably felt maybe worthless, and you had to do this. And you've seen the picture of me being pushed against the wall. I did not see the white thing, but an entity kind of gently picked me up. She smelled good too. And I knew it was a female spirit, and gently pushed me back. It wasn't a man. You can feel a woman when and I went with it all the way against this post, and she started having her way with me. And I said, you don't have to do that anymore. And I got an EVP right next to me, and it said, "Hi, I'm here." And we got the picture, and I got the K2 going off. So that's a rule of 3, where definitely. And I also said I could feel her from my shoulder to my knees. And everywhere in between that I just described, she's touching me there.
Yeah, I saw that picture. It was pretty cool.
Well, and I didn't see the whiteness, but what my point is, I'm not trying to impress you, but to impress upon you that I use compassion. And if we use compassion in many cases, or feelings of sorrow that maybe some of these spirits had to go through, they will come and talk to you.
Yeah, they will.
It's like any one person on the street. If you act nice to them, they may talk to you.
And even the ones that are not of this world, or are not ghosts or spirits, even they understand compassion. This beast thing that I was telling you about before, I actually could intuitively show it that I had nothing but love and light for it, and that we were not going to harm it. And I felt that it understood that, and nobody was scratched or hurt on that night, which on a night prior they were. So I think they can, even if they don't have the verbal capacity, they do understand love and light, passion.
Yeah. And I do believe, too, that spirit can go to the light and come back.
Yeah.
I've had them say, I've been to the light, I've come back from the light, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, although they do try to pull their weight, they do try to help us. They're guardian angels sometimes that come back to help us out. They see what's going on. They know. I have told people readings that they had a birthday party and that they were there, or that they got married and they were there. And I didn't know these people got married or had a birthday party, and sure enough, they had. And recently, and their loved one knew that they had a birthday party, or that they had a wedding, or whatever, a celebration of some sort. So they are there for pertinent times in our life. They do come back to visit, to see things in our life, to see grandchildren or children be born. I know they come around during that time. So.
And in many cases, that's exactly what we try to find out, is why are you here if that's not the case? You don't have grandchildren. Maybe you were with the land and there's a house on it. Why are you coming back? Because we're all going to be there someday, and I want to know why these things want to come back, if that's better. You did mention residual earlier of this half man. I have a residual EVP here. It's horrible, so if you don't want to hear it, turn your volumes down. It was in in Walker, a triple murder house. The young man, 16 years of age, had a knife. He had pentagrams in his room, and he just really said he was possessed. The mom came home. The father was a truck driver and was out on the road. Mom came home. He stabbed her 70 times in the kitchen. No, I take that back. He stabbed her 70 times downstairs by the washer and dryer, where she was doing clothes, where she passed. But I'm sure when you're getting stabbed, you make some noise. Then he waited for the older sister, to come home from school. He murdered her and raped her. And then when little Leah came home, she was 6 or 7. He murdered her coming in the back patio door and then put her upstairs on her bed and posed her like she was sleeping. He ultimately cleaned up, went to his girlfriend's house, ate a sandwich, and didn't know what to do. And then he came back and called police and said, someone broke in, but they knew it was him. And he finally admitted. He's got 3 life sentences, but here's the EVP of the mom down the residual. And when something that emotional happens, it burns into something, whether it be the concrete, the air, the walls, or something. Okay, get the kids out of the room because this is pretty ugly. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was repeated 3 times. It was not good. And though I did catch it, it allowed me to hear. I've never heard anyone get murdered before, but it.
Right.
Yeah, it's residual. So that's residual, and a lot of these others that we're playing are, of course, intelligent. I'm trying to look for one that we were in. Well, we were in the Belding Museum, and the cool thing is we were talking and taking a break in the middle room, and this was the first disembodied voice I had ever heard. Disembodied voices are cool because they don't need equipment. You can hear it in the air with your ears.
As it gets closer to the floor, they keep going off. They're going off, they keep going off. Because up here they're going off, they keep going off. Because up here they're going off, they keep going off. Because up here they don't.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it sounded like a scraping.
Yeah, it was a whistle. When you were there, it was like a whistle, whoop, whoop. And it was down, it was down the hall toward the front door. And I made the first mistake of ghost hunting. And that was, I picked up a EVP recorder and ran like hell toward it, like an insane man, where I should have went with somebody. You always go in twos. And I did run into the room off to the side and say, hey, was that you? And it came back and went, yes. But that was a disembodied whistle. What do you know about disembodied and why they can do that sometimes, Deb, and then why you can't hear them, and then they're in the out-of-range spectrum?
Well, I think part of that might be residual. So if it's residual, it's a replay in time, a ripple that goes through and you catch it at certain times. So then that would be one reason as why you get that. Another reason is if they were stuck there and were reliving that over and over again. I get the impression that that is residual, the scream that you heard, that shriek with that lady that got stabbed so many times, because I feel like she's passed over. But the thing where you got the scraping of the tail, and I got a vision of a tail right away on that because she said it was close to the ground, and I don't know why I got that. So I'm not sure why we hear certain things a certain way, or if it bounces energy waves and somebody with energy has to be there with the same frequency to hear it. Or they don't have enough energy built up in themselves to let us hear it, or maybe they're trying to tell us what happened to them and we're only getting parts of it because that's the amount of energy that they can expend to show us what happened.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And in most cases, 99%, our EVPs or disembodied words that we hear are not complete. And we do the best we can. It's like looking at a Roman tablet that's been broken, and you can't read the whole thing because you only got part of the tablet. And so you can't sometimes you can't derive or project what was going to be said. With that in mind, we were talking